So welcome back to part 5, Lance White with Andrew Bartzis. And we left off with Atlantis, the several rises and falls. There wasn't just one.
3 rises, 3 falls.
Okay.
Each peak of consciousness had a low density space versus a high density space. So each time they went from wide density to tight packed, they lost consciousness and the world descended.
Mm-hmm.
So we're at this part where the creation of the Hollow Earth Network, the Agarthans, they're the essential. I've described Earth as having 3 timelines.
Right.
They're the above and below. They're the guardians of Hollow Earth. The Agarthan Network is the framework for the resistance of Free Earth. The resistance of Free Earth is how to get in here and plan your life 1,000 lifetimes ahead so that you're a manifest and co-creating being between 2011 and 2014. The Agarthan Network was set up during the last rise of Atlantis. They had understood what the Lemurians went through, why they were leapfrogging through time. They ultimately understood there was no winning. None.
Right.
So the only thing they could do was use their technology to help the people that were already caught in the system. And any new beings that were coming here telling them, no, you cannot come here, you will be stuck. This is the greatest sadness of Atlantis, is telling these beings you can't live here. The Agarthan Network was set up so that these cities leapfrogging, these air cities leapfrogging through time would go inside the planet. And once they were inside the planet, those beings that needed to come here can come here in 5th dimensional or 6th dimensional status. Mm-hmm. And still be close to their soul family and oversee them in dream space. So the Agarthan Network was set up to be the Dreamtime Defenders, the place that beings that are lost in time, there are people that I've met in my reading scenarios that are lost in time. We'll just call him Johnny Z. He's a military vet. He's a 23-year-old man with a 54-year-old person put inside him. He was 13 years old and taken out of his body and put into a clone. And the 54-year-old version of him, who has been a time traveler for over 300 time drunks, was put into his 13-year-old body because they needed to lock him in a system so no one could truly figure out what missions he was running. The Agarthan Network is meant to help those people that are stuck in the worst of the worst of the worst. They're the ones that are going to come forth with soul surgery technology so that they can put the pieces parts back together. I've had so many experiences of trying to put beings back together here or on the Pleiadian command ships or any of the other multiple group minds that I get pulled into. When I see the Agarthan Network and Hollow Earth, Mount Shasta, January 11th, 2013, asked me to come here and read this record because to them I had already done it. Okay? So I'm here now in this quantum no field of energy, and for the audience that's out there that doesn't understand what that is I'm literally reading the Akashic record live. There is no hesitation. I am in the no field of energy, reading the questions based off of what energy he's bringing, what soul codes he's bringing. We're in Stewart Mineral Springs right now, on the summer solstice. The synchronicities that's gathered us all here is beyond proof of all of us that we're meant to be here in this time. So what questions do you have specific about Hollow Earth or the Agarthan Network?
Well,
the Akashic record is 100% open.
Wow.
There is no restrictions and there is no secrets.
Wow. It's such an honor to be able to hear this, because it seems like I've waited my entire life to find out what the truth was. So now the Agarthans, what density would you say
The Agarthans are a collage of the 72 first species of our world.
Okay.
We've time traveled back to the beginning so many times. Earth had to have multiple first species. They are the light entities and the gray entities that said we will be the Dreamtime Defenders of Earth in the future, and we will go deep into Earth's core and create soul space societies that the soul commerce of education and understanding and teachings can continue on this world though they won't be on the graduating timeline. They'll still be able to function with the soul family. Now, the 72 first species of Earth represent the time travel wars. The Acacia Network is separate of the time travel wars. It was created to be outside of the time wars in a limited concept. When Atlantis understood it was going to fall, it did the last part of the fortification process, the last pyramid process, to put control rooms on Earth. And these control rooms, there's 40 control rooms spread around. 21 of them are in control by both light and dark forces right now. But you need all 40 control rooms to raise the vibration of this planet. The Acacia Network is what oversees those other 19 that are hidden. They protect to make sure that all 40 aren't captured and controlled. They're there to be the guardians for our heritage, our inheritance. And our inheritance is, we're a unified species on a dreamtime level, on a physical and a DNA level. And we're meant to return to a higher dimensional status so we can go back and begin to heal these traumatic lines of karma through graduating classes.
So those who are graduating in the ascension process will be moving into another density.
Sort of. They will dream into the Acacia Network, and their density of their soul will determine what Agarthan city they go to, if it's Telos or Shaga or Shambhala or any of the other ones. And their soul density is based off of what how do I describe this? What soul family they've been a part of. Each city is set up, the only way to get in it, you must have soul family relation or DNA family relation to that city. Even though once you're in the Hollow Earth Network, you can go to any of them, but to get in the first time, you must have those codes to get in. So it's well protected. And the multidimensional being goal is always to get the Hollow Earth, was to get to the inside space so that they can be the spirit guides to everyone. Right now, they're not the spirit guides to everyone. They're just in the governmental control in this hijack system that they've created.
Now, there was a story that went on about Admiral Byrd discovering the Hollow Earth.
He did do that.
Did he? Okay. And is there, in fact, or was there an entrance in the North Pole and the South Pole?
There's an entrance in the North Pole and the South Pole, and multiple entrances spread all throughout the Earth, actually. There was a system of tunnels, underground tunnels, that were created during the final part of the second fall of Atlantis, and then during the rise before the third fall. They understood that the Hollow Earth system needed to be amplified in such a way that the local realities that would eventually get conquered could enter these tunnels. And let's say you wanted to go from Japan to Ireland, there was one tunnel that you could go through, and you could be there in a matter of days instead of years. So these tunnel systems were set up so that the consciousness of people could recede into the Earth and go through these tunnels, which were portals, and come up into another local reality, and then be immigrants to that local reality as the other local realities are being conquered one by one by one.
So this sounds almost like an underground system of rebellious.
It's the resistance of free Earth.
Yeah.
They are the teachers of how people can plan their soul, their lives thousands ahead of time. If we didn't have that here, we wouldn't be where we're at right now. Millions upon billions of us have been our resistance of free Earth. Because we took the time to learn from our guides in the astral world before we jumped into the machine.
So it is a machine that's an incarnational machine.
It is a machine
That the archons and artificial intelligence are running. Wow. Now, okay, so what else are they doing to empower us at this level?
They bring forth creativity so that there can be soft disclosure through books, through poetry, through music, through culture. They also bring hard disclosure. Those truth people that are out there, I could name any one of them. You just think of the top 10 in the truther movement. They're guided by those resistance free Earth people that are in Hollow Earth. That's their purpose. They're here to make sure that us get our sovereign free will and understand how to use it, because it's a very powerful responsibility.
Right.
Very powerful responsibility.
Right.
They're also in control of the unity consciousness drive that's in the center of the earth.
Mm. I might have read this somewhere that there's a king and queen of Agartha. Is that
That's
just
human linguistics limitation.
Okay, okay.
It's a council,
Okay.
and that council changes every time they go from a dense to a light spot. And the only reason it changes is because there's new immigrants that are coming in, and whoever's in that lead aspect has to have soul family related to it so they can interact with them.
Mhm.
And the ones that leave councilship still are doing their job. They're just not in that, for lack of better linguistics, political. Because political, when we say political, we have so many in things behind it.
Right.
It's
right.
not a two-party system. It's a no-party system.
Right.
All right. So they don't have the same dogmas that we do.
Right. So many of us have a soul family that's in Hollow Earth.
Correct.
And
we will
working
dream
on
them.
our yes.
We will dream them during the
Okay.
Dreamtime events.
Which is happening now.
Correct. We just had one just
We
outside.
we had one outside.
Mhm.
Yes. Quite amazing. Quite amazing. So what would the Agarthans like us to know in terms of what information can empower us?
I can only speak of the Akashic record from a neutral
Okay.
perspective,
Okay.
but I function with many societies in Hollow Earth, in the Pleiadian command ships, in the Ashtar, all over. And what they want us to know is our sovereign free will is the most important thing from them. They get so many entities that just pop into their ships and say, we need it now. And the
Mhm.
answer is, they cannot violate your sovereign free will. We have to do it. We have to claim our sovereign free will and say, no, we do not want to live like this. That's their message.
Yeah.
How else do we, me and Lance, explain to the listeners your sovereign free will is reality, is your reality? Hollow Earth is a reality, but the only way to get there is to be a sovereign free will being who fully understands the choices that they're making. If you want to communicate to those people that are in there, they are soul family, and you will recognize them instantaneously from their imagery and color.
Mm.
If you find a light being that's just overwhelming you with light and making you crying, tell it to stop. You have to set up the rules for it to communicate to you by your sovereign free will.
Mm.
So much of your sovereign free will is gone that all they can do is give you the blissful light energy and hope that you take it in and heal with it and nurture yourself so that you can set up the boundaries of communication so the language can be completed through a telepathic way.
Mm. And part of our evolution, it seems, is to awaken the telepathic communication, which relates again to your dream time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dreamtime is the telepathic communication grid. We as a species are meant to be in dreamtime all the time.
Huh. So it's kind of like the movie Inception, dreams within dreams within dreams.
But that's how you create multiple pieces of yourself, because we're multidimensional beings.
Mm.
And we can even give sovereign free will to pieces, parts of ourselves, so that they can go out and we can experience life even faster.
Huh. Interesting.
And many of the people in the Hollow Earth network, or the Hollow Earth grids, or the cities, are an avatar, and then they have thousands or dozens of their pieces, parts, off-world, inter-co-creating with the 5,283 separate species that are enforcing the quarantine here. So they have physical parts of themselves interacting with all the people here in unity to enforce the quarantine to end the system. And we, both me and you, both have parts up there making sure, we gave them sovereign free will a long time ago so that they could interact with the future species that were coming here. Mm-hmm. We made sure we created friendships. We made sure we created lasting loves and relationships that made sure that there was a circle of trust coming from the center of the avatar that has sent a piece of sovereign free will entity to them.
Hmm. So this is a long story that's evolving, and we're right at the crux of it right now, in 2013, 2014.
Now, the 21st, I recently did a show with Chris Hales talking about what happens on the 21st. Well, the 21st is another fear date.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's another fear date for a very important reason. It's been 6 months since the 21st of December. The 21st of December was the first single spark in unified dream time we've had in 28,000 years.
Huh.
It's the first spark.
Wow.
As we went from galactic winter to galactic spring to galactic summer. Galactic summer and human summer is aligning, and they need to make sure there is fear and propaganda out there, because this is the time that the event begins. And the event is already happening. It just isn't to a point where the media is going to report it.
Mm-hmm.
As I've said, you'll have kids sharing dreams. The experience we had outside, the experience that I've had on the mountain, the experience that we had having dinner, all those will be in people's faces.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's fear and propaganda, they won't be inside their mind to allow the experience to happen long enough. The stock market crashed for a reason. 300 points is nothing.
Right.
It's nothing. It's
Right.
just a fear game.
Right, right.
Okay? They gained
Right.
700 points back in the day.
Oh, yeah. Pump a few
Mhm.
$1 trillion in there.
Mhm.
It's all a rigged game.
Absolutely. 100% rigged. Rigged to create fear.
Yeah.
Fear is your mind killer. Fear is the limitation. Expectation is the next thing that we have to get over. We as human beings can't live with expectations. You have to learn to live in the moment. That's how you live in dreams. When you expect a dream to turn out a way, the dream ends.
Right. Right. And when you move into fear, the dream
Ends.
yeah, and you kick yourself out of the dream.
So the hollow earth is a series of tunnels on the surface that leads you to lower layers into the crust. There's the inner earth, and then there's the crustal societies. Societies that are on the very edge of living in the graduation timeline, but are still within the hollow earth energy system.
Mm.
So these are like the ant people that the Native Americans speak of.
Mm.
And there's been great insectoid species that have been living on Earth, nurturing our species, and they are not evil in any way, shape, or form. They are heart-based species
Yeah.
that share dream space through a queen. And there are many, many of these insectoid species that have come from the hollow earth, migrated to the actual graduation timeline, and then bred with us so that they could have soul relations to the queens of heart energy below, who are directly linked to the Earth Mother's sentience.
Wow.
Don't be afraid of them. Don't.
Right, right. I've often found praying mantises to be significant
Beautiful.
for me.
Mhm.
They're absolutely magnificent, and the communication is just like pure thought.
Mhm, pure
It's-
thought,
it's
pure
beautiful.
love.
It's beautiful.
Now Telos.
Oh,
Mount
yes.
Shasta is where
Tell
the
us
location
about
of Telos.
Telos.
Telos is where Adama, the current council head, exists. And he's come to me in many situations. And as the galactic historian, there are things that I don't know that I know, and things that he doesn't know.
Huh.
And the situation that arose when I was asked to come to Mount Shasta to read this, he had their own version of a prophecy. Now, I'm not one for prophecy, I'm one of what's written in the Akashic record.
Right.
And the Akashic record is time more, consciousness exploration, time more, consciousness exploration, so on and so forth. So when he came and said, I want you to do this, I said, I will go there and do what it is that I can do from the sacral neutral perspective. I will not shine any light onto any one society. And he said that was fine. And at that point, the crystal of Telos was put into my crown chakra. And it is separating the density and allowing the hollow earth to communicate through the Akashic record of sacred neutral that we're all a single species. And that we need to complete our soul codes. We are limited by soul family. The system of domination control makes sure that we don't have a complete soul family in our existence. And when you have a complete soul family, you're unstoppable. They want us to know that. I came here by my free will. By my free will, I chose to be the galactic historian. By my free will, I say every word that I can.
Mm-hmm. So, how do people begin to find? It seems to me that finding your soul family would be an organic process. That
Correct.
it would intuitively follow your inner guidance, and that people will just show up.
people will just show up
Yeah.
and you will just recognize them.
Well, right,
Yeah.
right. It's right. It's like old friends, you know.
Mhm.
It's like, you know, when I saw you and the people that I'm up here with, I know we're all still family. I mean, there's no question in my mind.
Mhm. Absolutely, no question
Yeah.
in our mind.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. So, so here we are at Mount Shasta, and
The city of Telos there.
the city of Telos is.
I've been finding myself, how do I describe this? Existing there, and existing here, and existing other places at the same time. I'm here right now, but there's a part of me that's on the mountain looking at the mountain and the sun setting.
Mm.
And that energy of the sunset is being transmitted to me here, so I may stay in this quantum field of no energy and make the Akashic record open to any question.
Now, what about the stargates?
Good question. The stargates are based off of our womb chakras.
Ah,
A stargate can open in a womb chakra, and that DNA wisdom and the physical inhabitants there can be transported through our sun to any planet that has our soul codes, or solar system that has our soul codes. This world has a complete set of soul codes to all galaxies.
wow. So this is a very advantageous place to be, as difficult and horrific as it has been.
It's the piece of the pie everyone wants.
Wow. Wow.
That's why this drama has been gone on and on
And on and
on. There were galaxies that weren't even created yet, and we still had the soul codes to them.
Wow.
That's the crazy part.
Yeah. Interesting.
Now, I've also said in many interviews, not only am I connected to the Akashic record of this world, but 20,000 other worlds. And to be the galactic historian, you have to have lived in all of those worlds and been true soul family to all of them and had true love with each member of that soul lineage. When I interfunction with all 20,000 Akashic records as a single one, at times there's a perspective difference.
Mm.
And me, the human, has to create linguistics that help us understand. Some of the information that I brought up has actually disturbed some of the other galactic entities that are listening into this conversation, because they do. They listen into many of our shows because they're observing us and at the same time allowing the information to go through them, because there's stuff that they don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And doesn't make me special. I'm in no field. I'm reading the quantum energy simply because I'm allowing my heart space to exist and allow the flow to be complete. So I'm at a point where all 20,000 Akashic records are single now, and I've understand all the different perspectives. And all these different perspectives that are coming out are what helping these beings that are enforcing the quarantine to give them more hope. You know, to give us hope.
Mm-hmm.
To reclaim our sovereignty, reclaim our free will, to get us on the path of being whole species. In unity instead of disunity.
Right, right. I don't know anybody that's not completely just saddened by the disunity on this planet. Every direction you turn, you see it, you feel it, you experience it. And that's something we need to break through,
Right.
which is why we're doing this show, or this interview, so that we can move through the fear and the hopelessness.
Get
and
beyond it.
Right.
I mean, I know there are people that are having difficulties comprehending this, and at times you'll have to go through and listen 2 or 3 or 4 times. I've done other shows where they've gone viral, and the shows that brought you here,
Yeah.
I speak in layers, and I'll be absolutely honest. I speak in layers because I'm speaking to each and every one of you individually and as a complete archive.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone that's listening live and everyone that's listening in the future archives, you exist right now in this no-time field.
Mm-hmm.
And the energies of the Akashic record, you are bringing to this energy. Even if you're not listening to it until this exact second, you hit play and you see me saying this. Okay?
Yeah.
Here right now, there are millions of people listening to this, for me,
Yeah.
but there's just 3 of us in the room right now.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's amazing. Well, it looks like this little segment has flown by on angel wings, so
Quick 25 minutes.
certainly is. So if you stay tuned, you will get to hear more when we return with part 6.